Episode 3, Backpedal. Our Patchers found themselves face to face with a group of bandits, the ones presumably responsible for the Nexus breach at Damp Digs, as well as the one north of Dunta. One of the bandits, referred to themselves as Frisk, claimed to recognize Serrecor as a member of the Ufdragonlar family, and offered him an opportunity to leave his life as a Patcher behind and follow in his parents' footsteps, whatever that means. Frisk expressed interest in having the bandit's pet returned to them, gesturing to the giant elemental that lay peacefully slumbering in a nearby tree. The same elemental that caused the destruction of the town of Dunta, and portions of the fairy farm, and presumably portions of the bandit camp that once served as its prison. Frisk implied that while most of her company of wrongdoers may have perished in the wake of the elemental's escape, reinforcements were quickly on the way, and the Patchers best surrender the elemental and walk away. The Patchers politely declined the offer, which slapped Frisk and her band of thieves into an all-out assault, with arrows flying in and out of trees, and Steve's spirits popping in and out of existence. The Patchers gained the upper hand, laying waste to the bandit scum and securing both the elemental and the nearby chrysalis that was on the brink of releasing that fairy within. As the Patchers tended to their wounds, it was only moments before the chrysalis receded, and the young fairy Petal was released from her slumber. She was able to fill in some blanks for our Patchers. Her mother was the only casualty from the Nexus breach in Dunta, and was the source of her grief before morphing into chrysalis form. Her mother's sibling, Stem, was the other fairy occupying that second chrysalis that our Patchers had already discovered at Fairy Farm. Petal expressed her wishes to return to her farm. Her rescuers first secured their elemental companion, Big, by helping him sort of blend in to the nature surrounding him. The group then agreed it was best to split up momentarily. Sprig and Ella would escort Petal back to Fairy Farm safely, which would also allow them to pick up Sprig's cow companion, Pearl. Serrecor, Tykan, and Allie agreed to head to Dunta to announce the arrival of Patchers and get a better sense of what their visit to a town in ruins might entail. It began with crashing in on a training exercise being run by one of the town's members, Mallory. In an attempt to bolster the remaining civilians of the town, he had set up a sort of training grounds, arming people with training arrows and swords and protecting them with whatever they could find. Pillows, blankets, stuffed animals, you name it. Mallory put a pause on training his lackluster troops, offering to escort Serrecor, Tykan, and Allie to the Nexus. They agreed, in the hopes that they would have an opportunity to secure that location of any threats before Sprig and Ella arrived to perform their usual Nexus maintenance ceremony. And with that, we begin the next leg of our Patcher's journey as we dive into another session of Daggerheart.
Yeah.
Open beta.
Asterisk 1.5.
For now. Open beta full of heart. And daggers.
Ow.
Mallory begins leading the party away from both versions of the town of Dunta, the pile of lumber and rubble that was formerly made up the town's permanent dwellings, as well as their small, insignificant patch of a campsite, now serving as the remaining citizens' humble home until their paths for a new beginning become clear. It's a fairly straightforward trajectory that Mallory is leading you on, as you look out over a seemingly endless ocean of fresh grass, pockets of lavender collecting around the bases of large boulders, and the occasional oak tree with limbs stretching out 10 feet in every direction. You look down and you spot a couple little patches of dirt, kind of where grass once grew, but over time gave way to boots of Patchers, making their regular trips to this particular nexus. It's a comforting thought to know that you've kind of returned to your scheduled occupations, a path with maybe a little less resistance than one of bandits and saboteurs. Man, the life of a Patcher is an exciting one, I gotta say. Yeah. Sometimes I wish I had a group of fighters around me like you guys had for yours.
Well, you do. You were training them just now.
Yeah, they're all right.
Start somewhere.
Honestly, actually,
how is training going?
Thank you for asking. I was actually going to say, it's not going very well. I was actually going to maybe pick your brains a little bit, because, I've got them wielding swords, wielding arrows, but...
Good start.
Thank you. Some of them don't seem to be taken to it, though, so I was wondering if y'all have any advice on how to maybe inspire them or find a different pocket of skills.
Creating an air of competition is always a possibility. I feel that drives people because it's kind of arbitrary when you're training, and then it's not like a real situation, right?
Is this why you asked me if I had a trophy for y'all when you crashed in on my?
Oh yeah, I asked that.
I recall.
Yeah.
that. It's like a game. You make it a competition amongst the trainees.
Amongst the trainees, and then like they have something to motivate them internally.
Motivate them in turn. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be glad to.
If I may answer your question with a question.
Please.
What are some of the natural abilities that you and your trainees, your fighters, your would-be warriors like to embrace?
That is an amazing question. I never even thought to ask people if they were more comfortable serving other duties. But you're talking like ways of the mysterious or ways of the magical or the sneaky. Is that it?
Or perhaps sword wielding isn't for everybody. I have glasses.
So you don't wield a sword?
No. Anybody who has glasses, that just nicks the sword.
Got it. All right.
Yeah, so prizes, like what he was saying is, prizes can fill the hole deep inside that like is empty.
I have one of those.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and so material goods I always find are a great way to motivate others.
So as you travel on and continue discussing all the kinds of ways to inspire the uninspirable, you kind of look out onto the area that you're traversing. You spot like a thicker patch of woods and trees, like a big wooded area coming up, and you think you recall the instructions for this nexus being kind of in that sort of a landscape. Not so much this meadow that you're currently in, more of what like the woods that you're approaching. Now, when patchers are assigned their zones of responsibility throughout the land of Kahada, they're usually briefed in depth by former patchers of whatever hostile wildlife they may encounter in each given nexus zone. So as your body and your mind kind of take in the opportunity to sort of refocus your gaze on the task at hand, your minds kind of wander and recall the Midlands operative, Tiger, who was a furbolg of a patcher renown. Now, you silly billies, listen up. The Midlands of Kahada leave patchers like you with no time to dally-dilly. It is the nexus zone with the most diverse of landscapes. Grasslands, wetlands, drylands, luring lands, haunted lands, visually acceptable lands, super scary lands, and lands that will spit you up and chew you out. Lands. It is the zone we reserve for our most promising of patcher prospects. Allow me to show you why. Here, and he points to a giant map that's very similar to the one that you all have of Kahada, pointing to a portion of it in the middle of the continent. North of the nexus near Dunta Gorge, south of Innovation Island. Innovation Island is that little island that sits in that big body of water just north of Dunta. Cute. Within these very woods are exiles of Innovation Island itself. Inventors and pioneers whose creations failed, bringing the prestigious League of Innovators great shames. Dismissed from their laboratories and studies with little to their name, it's known that most seek out their fellow exiles here, points again to the forest. A heavily forested and thus obscured haven for failed scientists, known as the Association of Liberated Theoreticians Ridiculously Out of Control, or Alt-Rock for short.
Oh, wow.
Here, thank you, raging sciences meet mage sensibilities, creating one magically mechanized abomination after the other. Mostly creatures of nightmarish quality in the hopes that when they are released into the wilds, they will find their way back to the League of Innovators' doorsteps, wreaking havoc every step of the way. That, in combination with the high volume of direwolves, oak treants, and general bears, the nexus of the Dunta Gorge is enough to send even the most seasoned of explorers straight to the nearest latrine. Which brings me to my next location. Here, And he gestures off to another Midlands Nexus location. But now, having kind of refreshed your mind and body into what Tiger's wisdoms had to say, you kind of come back to the real world, to the meadows in front of you. As a much appreciated cloud kind of gives your eyes respite from the late afternoon sun, you spot something else in the fields ahead. It's difficult to make out at this distance, but there's like a large and golden glistening amidst a few boulders in equal size. Well, I'll be darned. That's the tank.
I'm the tank.
Here's
Just a little joke we have. What do you mean?
oh, just a well, the tank he's like a construct kind of fella. Yeah, it was one that our gang built ways back when the bandits first started being a problem. Comes in handy every now and again, protecting a youngin' from, wandering canine and the like. He's got a big, empty vault where his gut should be that he can kind of just scramble an individual and storm in there while he dispatches the threat.
Whoa.
But, it usually likes to stay pretty close to home. It's kind of moving a little peculiar, too.
So, what, you built this guy?
Oh, no, I am not so gifted, my friend. There's, name's Andy. Now he's taken on the sort of title of mayor of whatever remains of Dunta. They're the ones that constructed it. Again, just as kind of a safe measure while I train my troops to be more self-sufficient, as I like to say.
Is Andy from the Inventors and Innovators?
It's a funny question that you should ask yourself. No. But she was, I suppose, doesn't like to talk about it too much, but she was created by somebody from
Scotty.
Innovation. Yeah. But she's quite gifted in her own right as well, I must say. A lot of folks don't take her too serious around here because she's a real perky type, but those perky types will get you.
Is Andy following one of the paths of the alt rock? Perhaps tracks of modest mice, or hootie and or blowfish, or a parade of wolves, or wolf parade, perhaps, following the alt rock path.
You are listing some dangerous guilds from that community, man. I can't imagine Andy being a part of one of them. In fact, she used to spend her time as the town candle maker before she had to take up the role of mayor, because you see there's like a line of succession. Once the mayor of Dunta left after the town was destroyed, it was the baker. When the baker left, it was the butcher. When the butcher left, it was the cobbler. When the yes,
That's
and
how that
so
works.
That's how the true line
so
of
on and
succession.
so forth. Established members of the town slowly taking up the responsibilities of others.
So, Tank is not supposed to be this far away from town?
Not typically, no. Likes to just patrol that campsite border there.
Can he talk?
That's also an interesting question.
Wow. You're asking so many interesting questions.
You're killing it, Tykan.
I'm on a roll.
He can talk, but he's not the one talking. See, Andy's usually controlling him from another.
Oh.
Told you, she's a clever girl. So if he's ever talking to you, that's Andy talking through it.
Oh, how far can Andy control Tank from?
That's a pretty. I'm not sure, actually.
Was that an interesting question?
It wasn't interesting.
I'm on a 3 for 3. Okay.
Great. Okay. We gotta meet Andy eventually.
Yeah.
You think we talk to Tank?
Well, yeah.
We think you take a look at Tank?
Can you describe Andy for us, please?
Sure, yeah. Well, she's a clank, actually. Like I said, she's sort of a mechanic magic combination. She's made of like rose gold and golds. She's usually wearing bright colors, big blue bulbous eyes,
Oh.
talking with a big smile on her face.
Oh.
That's how I would describe her.
Okay.
You're gonna pull this off, so.
I got it. All we need is the mask, right? So as a clank, does Andy ever wear one of those protective masks that you do for using fire?
Oh, a welding mask.
Welding mask.
Sorry, I'm not here.
She does. That she does.
Well, I would like to cast Uncanny Disguise with Welding Mask.
Describe what you take on.
Well,
Describe how you're looking today.
So first thing, these glasses gotta go.
Can you see?
But I get some bigger 1980s ones right over the eyes.
Great.
And then on top of that, a welding mask made of rose gold.
Okay.
And I take my 7'10" frame and shrink it to 7'1".
Mallory gives a thumbs up as he watches you slowly.
How do I look?
Look great.
Great. Like, do I look similar enough to Andy, or does more work need to be done?
I would say that's great, yeah. And always find the sunny side of something. Yeah, that's it. That's
Andy,
Andy.
That
Where,
is going to be the challenge for the first one.
Like I said, I've been working on myself.
Yeah.
You have.
And I will take the lead.
You got it.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, Mayor.
If that's okay
Miss
with
Mayor?
everyone.
Miss Mayor.
All right. So, as you begin to approach, you kind of get a better sense of the creature that Mallory has described before you. The tank is a gold-clad mechanical suit of armor. Although its large rectangular torso and like solid square head give it a far more kind of rudimentary appearance than just a general suit of armor. It also makes it quite obvious that there's nobody inside donning this thing either. But even without having seen this robotic creature before, you get the sense of Mallory's impressions are correct. Its motions are kind of spastic, and it quickly shifts from being upright to bending kind of right where the torso and its two blocky legs meet. He's doing it over and over, almost like he's watching like a frog leap up in the air and come back down to the ground below. As you approach, why don't you guys do a group roll and give me an instinct check. All right, so it's 20? Okay, great. As you guys approach, you're sort of, just taking stock of your surroundings, don't want to get lost in just the primary objective. You're starting to walk forward and you notice your boots are starting to kind of like grate, almost like it would on like really sharp rocks or something. So as you step on one of these things, you hear like a bit of a crack and you lift your boot up. And you're starting to see small shards of glass, almost in like a little trail. Once again, as you get a little bit closer, you really start to like squint now that the sun is sort of working in your favor. And the tank is not alone. You see not just one little shimmer from his gold-plated armor, you see two more shimmers. They're kind of bouncing as if like suspended. And then as you look even closer, you realize that they're serpents, but they're translucent, like the color of glass, perfectly see-through. From the serpent's matching sort of body language, you gauge that it is on the cusp of snapping forward and digging its fangs into the construct. And with that, we're gonna shift on over to see what Ella and Sprig have.
I should have changed shape. I'm half serpent.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, this is you.
This is me.
The sun still sits a little high in the western sky, as it took you a bit less time to reach Fairy Farm than it did for your companions to reach the town of Dunta.
Hey, Petal.
Yeah.
Did you want to see something cool?
Yeah, is it a pumpkin?
Yeah. Is your magic work still working magic on the pumpkin before we take Petal out there? Or could you do it again?
I can certainly do it again. You see, my connection to nature is never over. It is eternal. Just like the fungal spirit. Anyway, this one here, I think it's right here, named Patches. I'll just wake Patches up real quick.
I knock on the pumpkin.
Seems like she's ready to entertain.
It's gonna be so embarrassing.
Wait, that's a crit! 2 twos!
Oh, it is a crit!
Oh, my first crit!
You did it!
Wakey, wakey, Patches.
Oh,
It's Patches.
Hi, Patches.
you again.
Patches, you really helped us out before. We really wanted to say thank you.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
Also, I know it's been a minute since you've been, taking care of, right? Well, guess what? We have,
Look who's back!
Oh, excellent.
Petal.
Oh, yeah, okay.
One of the fairies of a fairy farm.
Yeah, I reckon we were never properly introduced, but
Okay, well, Petal, Patches, Petal.
and you see, as you're kind of gesturing, Petal's kind of getting the idea. And, hi, Patches. But she doesn't seem to be able to hear what he is responding to. It's only you that are able to connect to nature so beautifully.
Okay,
So can we retcon a few episodes ago?
no, Sprig just kind of blinks because they don't realize this.
Oh, wait, I can't hear this either.
Yes,
Wow.
you would have the experience of Sprig kind of acting as the like midway
right.
translator almost.
Oh,
between-
Ella, I did forget that I'm the only one with the headphones connected to the nature. Is there anything, Patches, that you want to ask Petal?
Well, actually, okay, it is a little embarrassing, but if you could tell her something for me, I'm feeling like a little tickle somewhere. So could she just check into that? I'm just feeling like somebody's tickling me.
Hey, Petal, this pumpkin's being tickled.
What? So you're slowly kind of following this little vine, and you realize that there's also these big, thick, like luscious leaves kind of stemming off from the vines as you go. So as you're kind of looking around, you're lifting up each individual leaf just to make sure nothing's kind of creepy crawling on them. And then finally you get to one leaf, and you sort of gently just lift it to look at the underside, and you spot just like a little kind of grub, like a little larvae.
A bug.
It's a fleshy pink-colored head, followed by like an eggshell-colored thorax with 6 long, thin copper legs, all located kind of right behind its head. There's like a dark plate of scales that run along the top side of its thorax. This kind of looks like a shield. And small holes that run along its sides that kind of produce and collect air.
Petal, we found a bug.
Flick it, Sprig. Flick the bug.
Ella, should I talk to the bug and ask it to leave? Do we have time for that? Or maybe
That's really sweet of
or
you,
maybe
Sprig.
we should just scoop him up and put him somewhere else.
I think the bug will be okay if we just pick him up. We do
Ella.
we do gotta go patch
You
stuff.
do, and this is why we are a team. You keep me on the clock. You keep me.
Petal, are you familiar with this kind of bug?
She kind of takes a peek under the leaf herself. Oh yeah, that right there's a sucker puff grub.
Oh.
Well, at least that's what I call them. They're pesky little larvae that make their, like, even peskier beetles later on. You know, it takes a skilled hand to remove them if they're on your crop. They got this barrier that runs along, and she'll kind of point and not touch it, but kind of just gesture around the top, like, part of the thorax. They got this barrier that runs along the top that protects them from, your boot or your shovel. But I've always found, and she kind of takes her index finger and just puts it right up against the grub, and a little bit of a flame comes and then is immediately doused out. I've always found a little bit of magic is enough to get it done. And when she had kind of produced that flame right next to its body, that whole shield just retracted, kind of up into its head. And it allows her to kind of pinch it on each side and just gently remove it from the leaf. If you crush, well, thank you. That's very nice. If you crush these, once their shield is down, they puff out a smell worse than a wet cow's behind.
And I would know what that smells like. Whooshy.
No offense, Pearl. But, they make that smell. You best say goodbye to whatever it is that you're growing, because 10 more is going to crop up where that first one was found. So it's best to just kind of relocate them, or she takes the grub and just kind of yeets it over the Dunta Gorge, like cliffside, so it just kind of...
The scarecrow reaches its hand up.
He has to find something.
Yeah.
Now, I don't mean to be unhospitable to my knights in shining armor, but there is kind of a lot of work to get done and only a few hours of daylight left to do them.
Yeah. Are you gonna be okay here?
Yeah, I think so.
Just keep talking to them. like we were doing earlier. As
Yeah,
many
just
days
to
as it
stam, you
takes.
mean?
Yeah. Just keep talking.
All right, just whatever comes to mind, or
Yeah. Just to remind them that there's something on the other side, on this side.
all right.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom had a couple of books I know that she liked. Maybe I could just read to her or something.
That sounds great.
All right, Pearl. Come on, baby.
You turn to drink in the last sights of Fairy Farm before your thoughts turn to other matters.
Listen, I just want to say I think you did a lot of beautiful work back there.
Thank you. That's really sweet. Sometimes it's hard being sensitive. And not everyone is receptive to that, but it's nice when it helps people. And it's worth it in that regard. So, thanks for noticing.
Hey, if you ever want to talk about, what you went through, I'm always here.
Ella starts crying.
You both continue your slight hike, but your pace is brisk, and it's not long before you sort of stumble across the shoddy campsite that your companions discovered not too long ago. Only this time, a weary collection of simias, halflings, and goblins are spotted sort of occupying the several tents, makeshift stools. Some even resort to kind of collapsing right where they are once they've wetted their lips and stowed away their practiced swords. One individual sits by the fire, sort of stoking it dutifully. And she stands out to you in more ways than one. Firstly, her perfect posture and manicured clothing sharply contrast that of her fellow civilians, who are more bogged down by their own exhaustion and from the training sessions endured earlier that day. And secondly, she is a clank. A sentient mechanical being built from a variety of metals, mostly rose golds, and metal and magic. Her eyes sort of radiate a sharp blue, and small gems are embedded and sprinkled across her face like multicolored freckles.
Cute.
She wears a yellow laced cardigan over a floral dress that stops at her knees.
Cute.
And as she assesses the fire pit, kind of meticulously sort of prodding it with a sharp metal rod to create ample space for oxygen, she spots you. She gets up to approach you, and the moment she speaks, her perfectly orb-shaped eyes sort of come alive. Her eyelids close slightly and angle upward toward the center of her brow. Hi! Welcome to Dunta. My name is Andy, formerly the town candlemaker, but more recently, it's acting mayor.
Well, congratulations! What an upgrade!
Thank you. And sort of as you guys congratulate her on that, you see one of the civilians of Dunta walk behind her and just give an innocent little eye roll and continue on with their day. I heard rumblings that the new set of Patchers had made their arrival into our charming little village, and I am honored to make your acquaintance. If there is anything that you require during your stay in Dunta, you need only ask and I shall deliver. Unless that request involves partaking in our award-winning corn chowder, because that, I'm afraid, is off the proverbial and literal table. But anything else that you need, I would be thrilled to be of service.
Oh, well, sorry to hear
you.
about the corn chowder. That sounds lovely. Oh, I'm Sprig.
I'm Ella.
Hi, it's nice to meet you. Your companions, I believe I saw them taking off with Mallory on the way to the Nexus, just to get a little head start on your very busy day, I'm sure.
How is everything going here post breakage?
Everything, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good, we're all just sort of learning and building a new community together. Some have left, but the people who have stayed are wonderful, and we're doing great.
Right, you said you're the acting mayor. Where did the mayor go?
He left. After the town was destroyed, he went and pursued things elsewhere, I would imagine. So the line of succession has slowly reached me.
We have reason to believe that your Nexus was disrupted by bandits. Have you guys had issues with these bandits before? Just over the way?
Yeah, we have. They'll just, find our way into our town sometimes, before I was mayor, obviously, and just kind of, wreak their little bandit havoc every now and again. But you seem to think that they were involved in the breach somehow.
Yeah, we have reason to believe that they are the reason. We have reason to believe that they are the reason for the breach in the Nexus.
Oh, golly.
It seems like they've been escalated, or that someone has maybe hired them or used them to their advantage.
Oh, well, that's a lot of big news. Okay.
Before the breach, was there maybe anyone new or unfamiliar that came through town?
Well, when the bandits would come by, they would pretty much identify themselves as such. We have no real big collection of law enforcement officers here, so when they would come and like take our gold or take our goods, they would kind of just identify themselves and say, "We're the bandits, try to stop us," and we really couldn't.
That's
Dang, they're
pretty
professionals.
Yeah, pretty original.
Which actually sort of brings me to a point I was hoping to sort of confide in you. Once the bandits started becoming a real problem and I took on sort of the responsibility of making sure that our civilians stayed safe, well, maybe it's best if we talk about this in private. Just a little bit of discretion.
All right, okay.
Great. I would love to lead you to my offices as mayor, if you have a moment.
Of course.
So Andy sort of kind of gestures to a little patch of woods where, had you been with your companions earlier, would lead to the actual proper town of Dunta. So she sort of starts to, herd you in that general direction. And as you push through a patch of small, dense trees, you come out on the other side to what is now sort of an all too familiar sight for you. A pocket of civilization now sort of razed to the ground at the hands of a Nexus breach. And she gestures to a property marked by small cement pedestals at the corners and stone walkway. A few broken, sort of misshaped candles of various thicknesses, heights, colors are meticulously arranged on each of them. Of all the businesses and homes Andy has escorted you past, this one seems to have received the most attention and care. The offices of the mayor, formerly known as Andela's Ablaze. Let magic light your way.
What an amazing name, Andy.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Shall we?
After you.
She leads you to the back right corner of the shop where there's a modest little cot, and it's made with creaseless sheets. She moves to the foot of the cot and just starts to kind of gently pull it away from the corner, and it reveals a large hatch in the floor. What once served as my workshop, since becoming mayor and, like I said, having the responsibilities thrust upon me, it's been a little repurposed. Follow me. And she'll sort of open up the hatch. She's the first to lead you down a ladder that's about 20 feet under the Earth's surface. The walls around you start taking on a more practical makeup of stone and steel, as opposed to the more decadent and tasteful remains of the shop above. When your feet hit the stone floor, you take a moment to just take in the room around you that Andy has led you in.
Wow.
It's a perfectly preserved, although pretty dimly lit workshop. The tables are intact, with stacks of paper and piles of books resting on them in perfect order. Crystals, orbs, distillation sets shimmer along the shelves lining the walls. On one corner of the room, something catches your eye. A table featuring several glowing buttons of various colors. And you kind of lean your head up to take a look at these buttons. There's some symbols on them, but they don't mean anything to you at the moment. And in the other corner of the room, there sits kind of a peculiar-looking chair. A brass knob on each armrest, kind of where the hands should be. And in front of the chair is a small stand, and on that stand is an odd-looking device, kind of part machine and part arcane.
Whoa. Hey, Andy, it's not just candles you were making down here, was it?
Oh, well, yes, like I said, I repurposed my office a little bit, which actually kind of brings me to why I brought you here. So, I challenged myself to create an automaton worthy of defending my people. Ooh. The tank, as I like to call it, is what I assume would be considered a vault guardian. He's a construct with a little small safe room in his torso. I've programmed it to recognize any Dunta civilian. So if that civilian appears to be in physical danger, the tank will just pop him right into his tummy, dispatch the threat, and then release the civilian at a predetermined secure location.
That's very forward thinking of you.
Ingenious. Or is it genius? Amazing.
Good idea.
Thank you. So, the situation is this. The tank has kind of lost it. Well, I guess in mechanical terms, I guess I should say while I was programming the tank's automation feature, it's possible I miscalculated certain equations which rendered it in a state of exploration and extermination. In other terms, it's hunting. So I was hoping
Hunting what? Perchance.
whoever is not programmed as a Dunta civilian in its system.
So possibly it could be hunting us, potentially. If we were to, like, come in contact with it, you know.
Yes.
And it could, per se, maybe run into, like, because we have 3 other friends here, you know, and
They're making their way to the Nexus.
Yeah.
So okay.
So, yep. Okay.
So, what I was... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just wondering, when you said hunting and exterminating, what kind of exterminating, what does that look like?
Weapons?
Yeah.
So it has the capability to sort of like slam its body into another person.
All right.
It also has the ability to self-destruct if all seems like it's going for the worst.
Okay, but what if there's somebody in the vault part of it?
I have cleverly programmed it so that it will not self-destruct if a civilian is locked within the vault.
Is someone in the vault now? Do you know?
I don't know.
So it could be explosive.
So you have no way to talk to or connect or control this tank?
Oh, well, usually I do, and she points over to the chair with that sort of odd device sitting in front of it. This is when the tank is in manual mode, but like I said, I was working on its automation functions, so it's not listening to me right now. But the good news is, on the tank, there is a manual override switch. So I was hoping I would stay here so that once it is available to me, I can control it. But if you all could kindly use that switch when you find him, preferably not damaging him, but I understand if it comes to that.
Well, we are patchers, so we can fix anything.
Pull a lever.
Is it a lever kind of mechanism?
Yeah, it's kind of like well, it's not like a lever. It's more like it can toggle easily. As long as it's not damaged. Yeah. Okay.
Where is it on its body?
Oh, it's on its back.
Okay, and how big is this tank?
He's really big.
Oh.
Like, he needs to be able to house most of our civilians, so his torso is quite large.
Oh, he's at once?
Oh, no, not all of them. Just one. Just the one civilian. If there's 2 civilians in trouble at the same time, it's a pretty big game time decision.
Oh.
We go quiet for a moment.
Maybe once this prototype is free of bugs, we will create more of them.
More bugs? Oh, sorry, no, more of
the
tanks. All right.
Okay.
So if you wouldn't mind, I would love to just show you how it works.
Sure.
I don't get to talk about it too much with other people before you go off.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
She sort of leads you over to the table that's got several glowing buttons on it.
Whoa.
So I had the skills to sort of create simple commands using combinations of symbols and sounds that the tank then interprets as actions. So like attack, shut down, even an undo command, which is used whenever I need to sort of like reverse an order that I've already given him. And she'll actually take her finger and sort of head towards the only red button on the table and...
Ooh.
Yep. That's my favorite sound. Undo. Nothing like associating every mistake you have ever made in a singular tone. And she'll shut her eyes and then sort of reproduce the sound perfectly the way you heard it, as if clanks kind of have that ability without like using their mouths. It just kind of like emanates from certain crevices within their crafting.
This is an ignorant question, perhaps, but have you tried just disconnecting everything?
Oh, like turning it on.
Oh,
Unplugging? I don't know.
Yeah, no, good one, Ella. That's
Thank
good.
you.
this is where I sort of am lacking as a mage and mechanic as of now. It's a learning process, but that is something that I should definitely implement in later iterations.
Yeah, maybe just like add a button here that just says off.
Well, it does have a shutdown command, but you mean like just a
Like a go to sleep button.
oh, okay. Yeah, that's actually a good idea too.
So
I'm gonna
none
write
of
those
these-
down, and she
none of
starts
these
kind of
buttons
taking notes
work.
on what you guys are suggesting.
Where is Tank?
Yeah, is there a way to track Tank?
That is a great question. So, my station, and she'll gesture to that chair with the device in front of it again. Once I turn this on, it will allow me to see and hear exactly what the tank is hearing.
Let's
So
give it a shot.
She heads over to the chair with the several knobs, and as she starts interacting with it, it becomes a little clearer what each thing is for. So she'll take a seat, she turns to you, and so the left knob, when I turn that controls the symbol, and then the right knob opens up my audio waves, so the tank can hear what I'm trying to tell it to do. So like symbol and that's the eliminate sound effect. So the tank will either like attack or self-destruct depending on the symbol. And then again, symbol, she uses the knob, and then another knob. If I do those, and then that's a defensive sound. So like the tank will either put a civilian safe in its room or deploy its shield, depending on the symbol you give. So let me go ahead and dial into what the tank is seeing. And she'll kind of lean forward toward the device. And again, as she uses it, it becomes kind of more clear about how this whole thing sort of works. There's this little flat woven band that she kind of just rests her chin on, and it's suspended by 2 brass poles that lead further up to a rectangular brass box that's open on the side facing her. So once she's kind of settled with her chin, she'll then push it a little forward so that her eyes sort of disappear in the box. Just a few more seconds, and I'll be able to see what the tank sees. Oh, okay. Well, it looks like the tank is up and moving, so that's a good sign. Oh, it's kind of swinging its head. Just give me 1 sec. It's a little hard for me to see what he is looking at. I think I just saw. Is that a snake sculpture? And is that me? Something must be wrong with its imaging. Something's very confusing. There's a large man with a tiny tree and... Wait, why is the snake looking at me like that? Ah! And Andy launches back sort of reflexively from the serpent's attacks, and she bonks her head real good on the back of the chair. And she now appears to be unconscious. Her body slowly starts to just
No,
sink
Andy.
deeper
Andy.
and deeper into the chair. What are you doing?
I pick up the clank, or like I hold her head. I
Sure.
start, like caressing her.
Great.
I guess I'm up on my tippy toes to like look into the seeing device.
Great.
Ella, I think they got Serrecor. He's missing. I just see Tykan and Allie.
Oh no.
And there's there's a smaller friend with them. Also, there's a scary looking snake, but I can barely see it because it's kind of like glass.
That is certainly something.
Andy, did she just like mimic the sound of the defenses and the elimination sounds, or did she actually press a button to do it?
When she was like in the machine,
yeah.
she like produces it. So like
Oh.
vocally.
Okay.
But anybody imitating those sounds could also probably be able to command the tank should they choose.
Because I would like to try and reproduce the defensive sound.
Sure. So if you actually like before you like really strap into this machine, you're able to just kind of walk over to see and take a look at the buttons that are on the table.
Oh.
I'm gonna give you two
Oh,
my Stream Deck.
whoa.
Whoa!
Stream
Deck.
But you see 7 buttons there. 2 are blue, 2 are yellow, 2 are green, 1 is red, and they have varying symbols on them. So you're welcome to press one of those buttons. Actually, give me. There we go.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're killing it.
I mean, to me, green is like healing and protection, maybe. And this one looks nice. What did you think that sounded like?
A goat. Oh, that one
That
was
was kind of-
explosion sound.
Oh.
Andy said what that one was, and I forgot.
I forget.
Here, for folks watching at home, are the symbols. Like I said, the colors are the same kind of sound that the button produces. The things that's different between them each are their symbols. So it seems like, as you're slowly putting things together, somebody might be standing by the table with the buttons, and somebody might be interacting with the device to try to control the tank.
This is beyond our comprehension, but I think we gotta try.
I'll try reaching out to our party, all right? Okay, hello?
From the other side of the tank, as you're slowly approaching it, you
Sprig, tell us everything. What's going on?
Well, we're actually in a room. Can you believe it? We're in a basement right now. Well, workshop, actually.
Tell them we can control the robot.
Oh, we can control this tank.
Once they switch the lever.
Oh, right.
you can go okay with her still.
No, that's me like yelling from the button panel.
I see.
Break the leather. Ella, you're so I forgot about the lever. Okay, you guys, we'll be able to control this guy, this friend, if you switch it to manual mode on its back.
Okay, and just to let you know,
Is that you, Serrecor?
Can I try and Hercules style grab the snakes and pull them off?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make any skill or just this is like. Do you want to add experience or anything to this?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I will
What are you
take this to
adding?
the extreme. I am wrestling snakes. I think
Zora
that
wants
sounds
to do.
pretty
Awesome.
extreme.
Go ahead and make a strength.
Classic to the extreme.
Strength 24
Awesome.
with fear.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead and describe it. That's a
Yeah,
success.
I think I was like behind these two,
Mm-hmm.
so I think I'm gonna like vault over, legs go into a split as I go over Tykan's head, and then come down, grab each snake head,
Mm-hmm.
and pull them apart on either side of me.
So while you're doing that, I'm going to. There are some big rocks in the middle of this field.
Correct.
right?
Yeah, like big, large boulders.
Okay, so I want to run behind one of them. So I'm gonna try to run and hide behind that rock, and then take out my slingshot.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That I got last session.
Amazing.
And
Okay.
I'm going to load it with a little rock and try to hit the. Well, I guess do I have to roll to see if I can see the switch?
I would say the switch is pretty obvious. Like you can spot this big sort of like slot in the back of its body, and then like a button that could switch from the leftmost side to the rightmost side. At the moment, it seems like it's kind of in between the two of them.
Okay, so that is that's a 20, but with fear.
And then you see the tanks just sort of stop midway through its motions and just kind of reset and stand, just standing by.
What's the situation, Sprig?
Oh, let me ask. Hey, what's happening out there? Did you get this switch or lever thingy?
let me translate. So we move the switch to the right side.
All right.
Okay.
Do you have any manual control of tank so far?
Let's give it a try. Ella, what should I? Give me something.
The one that looks like a sun and is blue.
Well, can you give me the sound?
Oh, yeah, this sound, it's like bonk bonk whir.
Okay.
Self-destruct in 10, 9.
Hit the red button. What's it sound like?
Countdown stops.
Can you remember what that was? And so we don't do that one again.
Oh, yo, let's combine forces. We haven't burned that one down yet.
Sure.
All right.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yes.
Want to do a tag team?
Yeah, let's do a tag team.
Great.
14. All right, 14 with hope.
14 with hope, great, you get a hope.
10 with fear.
10 with fear, that is going to miss, unfortunately.
Sprig,
Okay.
take the one that looks like two frowny faces and one smiley face.
And
makes like an eye in the center.
Oh, okay.
And then I want you to make a sound that's like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
Woo, woo.
And it's deployed almost like a shimmering shield over top of itself.
No!
Darn
Did
it.
a shield on it.
Oh, okay. Nice work, Ella. That was a defensive move. Okay. All right.
I'm gonna dash to try to get to a different rock.
Okay. You do so.
Yeah.
Nailed that.
And I take out my slingshot. I'm just gonna try to shoot another rock.
Okay, great.
At the one that just bit you.
Excellent.
That is 18 with hope.
18 will hit and get yourself a hope.
6 points of damage.
Okay, that is a minor wound. Excellent. And as you have like one of the rocks just kind of hit it, it does seem like both of their bodies kind of took on that impact, even though they're two kind of separate things. They seem to be linked by whatever magic is kind of bringing them to life.
Anyway, I want to smash their heads together.
I love it. Do it. Yeah, absolutely.
If
So
you
go
guys
ahead
like-
and just roll your duality dice, and then
Yeah.
let's add your strength modifier to it. So you're trying to like use your might to sort of bash the
Yeah.
heads together.
That is a 21 with hope.
That'll hit. Yeah.
Bam!
As you sort of watch their noggins kind of collide, you hear like this like ear-shattering glass splitting as the two of them just sort of collide into each other, glass on glass. And when you pull them back, they seem even just like a little dazed by the impact of it. And then they quickly get back into it.
Okay, take the same double frowny face, smiley face symbol and make that bonk bonk whir sound again.
Okay, before I say it, I'm gonna make sure, like, my field of vision is right, like, looking towards the snakes.
Okay,
and
great.
not the friends.
I love that.
Ella, can you press that button one more time?
Great. Once again, the tank takes a moment to sort of reset, and then you see it kind of perk up and look toward one of the snakes, and and it sort of just uses its whole body to just kind of bash itself into one of the snakes that Ali is holding.
Ella, that looked like I was a smack. Nice job.
Awesome.
How important is it that we return this tank alive?
I would say that's pretty important because it's kind of keeping this town protected at the moment. And it's just like, it's the start of this town's, like, new, I would say it's pretty important. Is what
Okay.
why are you gonna?
Well, an unhappy circumstance could be returning the snakes into the being and having it self-destruct. Now, if we take on too much damage as a unit, let that be our plan B, last resort.
Tell them we can keep smashing for now.
Yeah, we'll keep smashing for now. How about that?
Don't worry, we'll do the smashing.
Is that Tykan making an attack?
Yeah, I'm gonna make an
Excellent.
attack. I'm gonna do a sneak attack.
I love it.
Here we go.
Okay. That is a 18 with fear.
18 with fear. Great. 18 will hit. Go ahead and roll for your big boy damage.
Big
This
boy
is probably my
Tykan.
biggest damage yet.
Oh
All right. Well. It's
okay.
Okay, so that's 9. 9 points of damage.
no. 9 is a nice, sensible, minor damage.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks, Jordan.
Yeah. Anytime. Man.
All right. So I.
How did it go when you said you would do the smashing?
Good.
And I think previously, up until this point, I've been on my back and they've been on top of me. Now we're gonna flip it. I'm pinning them to the ground.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say then the next attack that happens on these snakes is gonna have advantage. So you'll roll an additional d6 to make your attack. What's next, gang?
Seeing the advantage, I would like to make an attack. Cindergrass.
Cindergrass. Great. I think you have the capability to sort of control the burn, so you don't have to like worry about harming an ally.
6 with fear.
Oh, God.
Okay.
So it's a big, theatrical. Big theatrical wine. I throw my hands together like Ryu, getting ready to throw a 5 HP Hadouken. As the fire starts, some glass shards accidentally creep into my fingernails and into my hands. So I throw this large, very draconic,
Okay, do the same. 2 frowny face, 1 smiley face, bonk bonk whir.
Once again, the tank just kind of rears itself back and towards that same snake it missed earlier, just kind of like trying to get it with its body. Ooh, there we go. Okay, 21, which is gonna hit on the glass snake.
I'm gonna try to do another sneak attack since you're right up on him.
Sure,
Still.
great.
Okay, yeah.
17 with hope.
Great, gain a hope, and that hits, so go ahead and roll for damage.
19 points of damage.
19?
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and describe?
Wow! So I run forward, and I'm like, don't worry, it's time for me to take it to the extreme. Extreme dagger in snake throat, and stab into the glass, and then try to pull back.
Oh, great. As you kind of pull your knife out of one of the bodies of the glass snake, the two of them just kind of...
Both snakes?
Both snakes,
Both
yeah.
snakes?
Now we can make like some stained glass or something. Oh wait, that would have been good. Stained. I could have said, I'm gonna stain this glass with blood or defeat.
Well, Tykan, you said it for us, so
The
we
next time we
liked
fight a
it.
snake.
Nice.
Wait, Sprig, I want to try one more thing. Oh, can you take the sunshine shape? And
That was the one that was related to the snow, the exploding, right?
But you're gonna make a goat sound again.
Okay.
Yeah.
From like the perspective that you're watching like the tank's vision through, you can still see, but it kind of turns into like a black and white sort of like image.
Whoops, probably should have told them that I was shutting it down before we tried that. But I was worried that it was gonna grab him and put it in its belly.
I mean, yeah, Andy did say it was a little bit out of control, so I think we did the right thing.
Andy.
Can you put your little feet on the ground and go and create a little bit of static, and we can just give her a little tap.
Can I?
The phone bone maneuver.
Can I do that with my antennas with a little bit of magic?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh.
I get what you're saying, Sprig.
Okay.
Great, you can slowly start to feel like a little bit of static charge being produced from rubbing your antennae together.
And then I just want to tap my antenna down on her forehead.
He goes,
Good idea, Sprig. Andy.
Hi.
oh, hi.
Hi. You okay?
Yeah,
Yeah?
I think so. Why am I on the floor?
Well, you had a little bit of a scare.
You hit
and
your head.
Bumped your head, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that explains the headache, I guess.
But good news, we shut down the robot.
Oh, you already went out and came back?
What?
Sprig got in the thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm up here on the chair.
And then we did voice impressions. Show her.
You controlled the tank all by yourselves?
Yeah, well, Ella, she was amazing. She figured out what each button meant.
And Sprig told me everything that I needed to do.
That's pretty impressive. Well, my head does hurt quite a bit, so I might just stay down here.
Okay.
But the tank is shut down and is gonna be okay for the time being.
I mean, as far as we know.
We hit the shutdown button, and then Sprig said it went kind of dark.
Yeah, it went like grayscale. It was pretty
That
cool.
sounds about right. Cool.
Okay. Well, really sorry that this happened. Very happy that we were here to help.
Yes.
We're gonna go collect our companions and patch up your nexus.
I'll let you guys kind of start working your way there, and we can turn over to you all as well. You just see Mallory
Yeah.
kind of like peek out from behind one of the oaks, like shaking a little bit.
Mallory, come on out.
Is it gone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took care of it.
Yeah, we broke the glass snake. Finally.
Finally.
Well, I really appreciate it. I'm a little ashamed to say that as soon as I saw them things, I ran and hid. But thank you for doing what I could not.
Oh, don't worry.
That's the natural response. I mean, honestly.
Don't like snakes.
A reward
Yeah.
is fine.
Now, let's not be so forward. Well, shall we join you to make your way back to your townsfolk?
Yeah, we could start heading back to town if you want. That's fine with me, or...
Or do we want
We
to?
gotta secure the next.
Oh, let's
You want to
secure the
secure it
nexus.
first?
Yeah.
All right.
Us three. I got Steve also above.
Oh, yes, of course.
Steve in the sky.
He's sort of
Yeah.
standing
Steve's the eye
from
in the
above.
sky.
Nice. Yeah, eye in the sky.
Yeah.
Chopper Dan.
Chop down.
So as you sort of start traversing through this wooded area, it starts becoming obvious when you're getting close to this nexus. The, fungi that sort of are born of each nexus start quite a distance from the center of it, where they typically have to perform their duties with the sap from the Blessed Sentry. And so you start seeing small little fungi that are referred to as trichodermas, kind of starting to sprout from the ground. Pretty modest in size. They almost actually look like a group of Inferis have been buried under the earth and are now trying to reach up from out of the ground. They're deep red and they form these stiff kind of peaks. So at a quick glance, it almost looks like there's fingertips reaching up and toward the sky.
Spooky.
Yeah, as you start, they're kind of the typical size you would find trichodermis naturally in the environment, just a couple inches off of the ground. And the indicator that you're getting close to the center of this nexus is they gradually get taller and thicker, bigger, just in general, the mass of these fungi. So as you kind of start to traverse, you slowly become engulfed in, instead of pine trees or oak trees, just large stalks of these giant trichodermas that reached up to even Tykan's height.
Whoa.
Nice. Nice.
You're starting to head to the nexus as well. Great.
Do we see shards of glass
Yeah,
everywhere?
exactly. Yeah, actually. Oh, yeah, and you pass by a shut down tank at one point. That's kind of a further indicator that you're on the right track.
Wow, we were doing it.
Awesome.
I realize I don't have my glasses. Could they be by the thing?
Oh, did you throw off
Yeah,
the glasses
yeah.
on her own?
When
Yeah.
I threw these-
Go ahead and
Do we
look at
see the glasses?
Go ahead and make an instinct check.
Okay.
Whee!
21. 23 with hope.
12 with fear.
These seem to be Serrecor spectacles. Now, how is he able to cast spells without that? Oh, let me pick him up. I'll put him right in my little backpack.
Steve, how do things look? They're pretty good from up here.
You all kind of reunite.
Yay! Well, here, Serrecor. Oh, wait, thank you. Here you go. Here you go. It's your glasses. Lord, Tykan, help him. Tykan.
This is Mallory.
Hi, Mallory. Oh, hi.
Mallory Argan.
Nice to meet y'all.
I'm Ella.
I'm Sprig. Well, it's Sprig Bottom, but you can call me Sprig, of course, absolutely. Or Bottom, whatever.
All right, Bottom.
Well,
You're the first person who's taken them up on that.
Oh, wow. Right. That is surprising.
Yeah, I know.
As you weave through the forest of the trichodermas, you catch sight of the very center of it, and you wanted to just prioritize kind of taking a look at the middle portion of it.
Since this seems similar to what just happened to us.
It's been some time since that actual breach, but as you slowly kind of take a little look, go ahead and make another instinct for me.
That's gonna be 22.
Awesome.
With hope.
Perfect. You get hope. You spot no kind of markings of that darker shattered marking from the explosion you saw at Damp Digs. However, just to the side of it, there's this smaller rock that's kind of half embedded into the soil, and along the side of it, you see something shimmer. And you try to kind of pick away at it to get it off the rock. It seems like it's melted glass that's sort of melted into the rock.
You guys, I think there's melted glass over here, maybe from an explosion, we saw earlier. Oh, but it's this. I mean, we knew this one had been messed with, but I think it's safe to say that the same people are messing with all of these nexi.
and you think because it's glass, it's probably related to the glass snakes.
Maybe. I mean, that's what I wonder. I wonder if there are any patterns that we could look at, because it could be. Remember when people were bottling
The electricity.
the electricity? So I wonder if it's.
I think there was like maybe the electric explosion.
Yeah.
Like
And melt the glass.
yeah,
Yeah.
after the heat of it exploding the Nexus. But I don't know. Could be something to report back. You know, we told people that someone's tampering with something, but it seems like this trade of bottled electricity might lead us towards something.
Yeah.
Are there for the seals? Do you think that Inventor's Island could have something to do with this?
I think
They
so.
South of it?
Because those snakes did seem like a construction, a magical construction, and something, I think, beyond the minds of those bandits that we fought earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they were just the ruffians, you know?
The bandits who announce themselves as bandits
Yeah.
every time
That's how-
they arrive.
Exactly.
That's how you know they're good.
It's not a sly board.
Are there any patterns on the glass?
I would say it's probably too melted.
Yeah, too melted,
yeah.
Just melted. Well,
Well,
something to think on.
You hear like a little bit of rustling from a nearby little trichodermis.
I'll go investigate.
Are you guys hearing that? My antenna is like,
Yeah. The squeak?
yeah.
Yeah.
we all
Wanna
take
go
a
check
look
it
while
out. Yeah.
we're
So you're continuing your work,
Yeah, yeah,
letting,
yeah.
the,
They're
letting
locked
the others
in.
do theirs.
Patchen.
Time
Yeah.
for us to secure the perimeter.
Yeah, you start to kind of like
Yeah.
weave your way through some of these thicker mushrooms here. And as you kind of peek your head out from behind one, you definitely, without any problem, lay your eyes on the source of the sound. There is this large larva. It's got a fleshy pink head and sort of an eggshell white body with a dark black sort of shield running along the top of its body. And it's about 2 to 3 feet long.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a big larva with a pink head and a white body.
Let's destroy
Don't touch it! Don't touch it! Don't touch it! Don't touch it! No, don't touch it! Don't touch it!
You looked over your shoulder, and a second one
There's
will
two.
slowly
Don't
rise
touch-
from
so
the tip of
stinky, so
another
stinky.
trichoderma.
They're also 3 feet tall. I don't know if we mentioned that.
And there's
I need
another
a
one that
win
starts to
today.
rise from the
Uh-oh.
side of another
We've
trichoderma.
got a-
It's gonna be stinky.
Okay, you said, will there be any consequences?
It's gonna.
It slowly comes up, and another fourth one starts to rise from the trichoderma.
We gotta come.
And then
If
a
you
fifth one starts to
If you touch it, it's gonna stink and explode and poison. It's the poison forest.
That is what we're gonna do.
An I Love Lucy chocolate situation.